Hello, this is Shmuel Moshe, and you are listening to the Weekly Parashahcast, a weekly Torah portion podcast where I read the weekly Torah portion, then provide my own interpretation based on my understanding of the text. This week's Torah portion is falling on the 2nd of Sivan, 5784, June 8th, 2024. It is Bamidbar. That's right, we are starting the fourth book of the Torah, the fourth book of Moses, with the very first chapter of it. The translation of Bamidbar means in the desert, or in the wilderness. And so here we are in the desert. Let's go ahead and jump on in. As always, you can follow along in English on Chabad.org, and we'll be starting with chapter 1, verse 1 of the book of Bamidbar. The Lord spoke to Moses in the Sinai desert in the tent of meeting on the first day of the second month, in the second year after the exodus from the land of Egypt, saying, Take the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel by families following their fathers' houses, a head count of every male according to the number of their names. From 20 years old and upwards, all who are fit to go out to the army in Israel, you shall count them by their legions, you and Aaron. With you there shall be a man from each tribe, one who is head of his father's house. These are the names of the men who shall stand with you: for Reuben, Elitzur the son of Shedeur; for Simeon, Shelumiel the son of Zurishaddai; for Judah, Nachshon the son of Aminadab; for Issachar, Netanel the son of Zuar; for Zebulun, Eliab the son of Helon; and for the children of Joseph, for Ephraim, Elishama the son of Amihud; for Manasseh, Gamliel the son of Pedazur; for Benjamin, Abidan the son of Gideoni; for Dan, Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai; for Asher, Pagiel the son of Ochran; for Gad, Eliasaph the son of Deuel; for Naphtali, Ahira the son of Enan. These were the ones summoned by the congregation, the princes of the tribes of their fathers. They are the heads of the thousands of Israel. Then Moses and Aaron took these men who were indicated by their names, and they assembled all the congregation on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, a head count of every male from 20 years old and upward. As the Lord commanded Moses, so did he count them in the Sinai desert. All right, so interestingly in English, this is called the book of Numbers, right? Bamidbar, Numbers. And so we're going to be taking a look now. This first portion basically discusses after, the second year after the exodus of Egypt. So the second month in the second year. So they've been wandering in the desert for some time, and now they're getting an official census count. And we did just have the counting of the Omer in the previous portions we'd been talking about, right? So now we know who and how many, and we're going to find out who the princes are of these different tribes, who is the representative, and they're going to go and report to Moses and Aaron, and from there we're going to learn more about what's going on here. Let's jump right into the second portion, chapter 1, verse 20 of Bamidbar. This was the sum of the children of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army. Those counted from the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. Of the tribe of Simeon, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, his tally according to the number of individual names of every male born from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army. Those counted from the tribe of Simeon, 59,300. Of the tribe of Gad, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army. Those counted from the tribe of Gad, 45,650. Of the tribe of Judah, their descendants, according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Judah, 74,600. Of the tribe of Issachar, their descendants, according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Issachar, 54,400. Of the tribe of Zebulun, their descendants, according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Zebulun, 57,400. Of the children of Joseph, of the tribe of Ephraim, their descendants, according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Ephraim, 40,500. Of the tribe of Manasseh, their descendants, according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Manasseh, 32,200. Of the tribe of Benjamin, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Benjamin, 35,400. Of the tribe of Dan, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, these counted from the tribe of Dan, 62,700. Of the tribe of Asher, the descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those counted from the tribe of Asher, 41,500. Of the tribe of Naphtali, their descendants according to their families, according to their fathers' houses, the number of individual names of every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army, those who counted from the tribe of Naphtali, 53,400. These are the numbered ones, whom Moses and Aaron, the 12 princes of Israel, counted each one, representing his father's house. All the children of Israel were counted according to their fathers' houses, from 20 years and upward, all who were fit to go out to the army. The sum of all those who were counted, 603,550. But the Levites, according to their father's tribe, were not numbered among them. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Only the tribe of Levi you shall not number, and you shall not reckon their sum among the children of Israel. But you shall appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of the testimony, over all its vessels, and over all that belong to it. They shall carry the tabernacle, and they shall minister to it, and they shall encamp around the tabernacle. When the tabernacle is set to travel, the Levite shall dismantle it, and when the tabernacle camps, the Levite shall erect it. Any outsider, non-Levite, who approaches shall be put to death. The children of Israel shall encamp, each man by his own camp, and each man by his division. The Levites shall encamp around the Mishkan of the testimony, so that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the children of Israel, and the Levites shall keep the charge of the Mishkan of the testimony. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, thus they do. All right, so it was a kind of a funny reminder of what it was like hearing about the different names way back in the book of Genesis, right? But we have a very long list of the specific numbers, so we get each tribe's population, and it's specifically talking about soldier-aged men, 20 years older and up, right? So what we're really seeing here is we're seeing the legions of the Israelites. We're seeing what their functional fighting force was according to those of fighting age, 20 and older, belonging to each of the different tribes. But the Levites are the exception. The reason for this is because they are to be those who tend to the tabernacle. So while the others are all meant to be counted for the sake of fighting, these Levites are counted separately because they have a very specific purpose to serve at the holy part. Now, with that also being noted, anybody who's not a Levite that goes in toward their camp and their encampment and toward the Holy of Holies and the Holy Tabernacle and all that will die. So it's a very clear rule. Stay away unless you're a Levite. And in general, it's also saying that the different tribes should stick to their respective land. And if we think about it, this has a precedent for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, we go back to Genesis, right, Bereshit, when we look at Abraham. Abraham and Lot, his nephew, were traveling together. And as they were traveling, each of them had grown a great deal of success. And as their individual estates grew, there was eventually a quarrel between the different sheep herders working for each of them. And so Abraham said, "Let there be no quarrel between you and I. You pick if you want to go this way or that way, and I'll go the other way." And so right here we see a foundational principle of separating the different tribes to be separate so that each of them has his own allotment. And this will no doubt be useful for helping preserve the peace among the Israelites. So now we can go ahead and move on to the third portion. We're going to hear a little bit more. Chapter 2, verse 1 of Numbers, Bamidbar. God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "The children of Israel shall encamp each man by his division with the flagstaffs of their father's house. Some distance from the tent of meeting they shall encamp. Those camping in front to the east were the legions under the division of the camp of Judah. The prince of the children of Judah was Nachshon, the son of Aminadab. His legion numbered 74,600. Camping next to him was the tribe of Issachar. The prince of the children of Issachar was Netanel, the son of Zuar. His legion numbered 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun, and the prince of the children of Zebulun was Eliab, the son of Helon. His legion numbered 57,400. The total sum for the legions of Judah's camp was 186,400. These shall journey first. The legions under the division of the camp of Reuben were to the south. The prince of the children of Reuben was Elitzur, the son of Shedeur. His legion numbered 46,500. Camping next to him, the tribe of Simeon. The prince of the children of Simeon was Shelumiel, the son of Zurishaddai. His legion numbered 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad. The prince of the children of Gad was Elisaph, the son of Reuel. His legion numbered 45,650. The total sum for the legions of Reuben's camp was 150,450. They shall be the second to set out. Then the tent of meeting shall set out with the Levite camp in the center of the other camps. Just as they camp, so shall they travel, each man in his place by their divisions. The legions under the division of the camp of Ephraim were to the west. The prince of the children of Ephraim was Elishama, the son of Amihud. The legion numbered 40,500. Next to him, the tribe of Manasseh. The prince of the children of Manasseh was Gamliel, the son of Pedazur. His legion numbered 32,200. Then the tribe of Benjamin. The prince of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, the son of Gidoni. His legion numbered 35,400. The total sum for the legions under the division of the camp of Ephraim was 108,100. They shall be the third to set out. The legions under the division of the camp of Dan were to the north. The prince of the children of Dan was Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai. His legion numbered 62,700. Camping next to him was the tribe of Asher. The prince of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Okran. His legion numbered 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali. The prince of the children of Naphtali was Achirah, the son of Enan. His legion numbered 53,400. The total sum for the legions under the division of the camp of Dan was 157,600. They shall be the last to set out. These are the numbers of the Israelites according to their fathers' houses. The total number of legions of the camps was 603,550. However, the Levites were not counted with the rest of the Israelites as the Lord commanded Moses. The Israelites did all that the Lord had commanded Moses. They encamped by their divisions, and so did they journey each man with his family according to his father's house. All right, cool. So that's the end of the third portion. So we touched briefly on one reason why it would be good to keep these different groups separated for the sake of their own allotment. But here we see a more specific purpose. This is actually in relation to the construction and formation of the army. So we're seeing the way that these different groups were sorted were basically in legions, right? So they operated under command of a particular leader, right? So you have it was basically 3 by 4 or 4 by 3, right? So you had 3 groups together, and then you had 4 different subgroups, or 4 different, you should say like 4 encampments, right? And then each of them had 3 specific legions within it. So, for example, looking at the tribe of Judah being the first we see listed here, right? So Judah's camp is going to have these are the divisions under Judah. So we have 74,600 in his legion, then beside him Issachar and Zebulun. So the 3 of them are going to collectively be the legions of Judah's camp, 186,000 people, 400. Right, so that is who's going to be leading when they start leaving every day to move the camps of the entire congregation. That's going to be the first one to move, and they are quite numerous. But then we see all around, the Levites are kind of in the center with the tabernacle. So it's going to be in between all of them. It's kind of like the nucleus. Everything operates around it. So you're really you're basically an elaborate escort operation for the Levites in the center who are responsible for maintaining this really important and holy artifact. So it's a pretty functional strategy, I'd say. I mean, we're seeing now they're not going to be unfortified from any position, and we have a good chain of command that we can understand who's commanding what. We know who the hierarchy is in each of these groups, and now we can see the sort of the military strategy moving through the desert for all of these different people. Now we go on to the fourth portion, chapter 3 of Bamidbar, verse 1. These are the descendants of Aaron and Moses on the day that the Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. These are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab the firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the anointed Kohanim, whom he consecrated to serve as Kohanim. Nadab and Abihu died before the Lord when they brought alien fire before the Lord in the Sinai desert, and they had no children. Eleazar and Itamar, however, served as Kohanim in the presence of Aaron their father. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Bring forth the tribe of Levi, and present them before Aaron the Kohen, that they may serve him. They shall keep his charge, and the charge of the entire community before the tent of meeting, to perform the service of the Mishkan. They shall take charge of all the vessels of the tent of meeting, and the charge of the children of Israel, to perform the service of the Mishkan. You shall give over the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They shall be wholly given over to him from the children of Israel. You shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall keep their kehunah. Any outsider who approaches shall be put to death. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, As for me, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel in place of all firstborns among the children of Israel who have opened the womb, and the Levites shall be mine. For all the firstborns are mine. Since the day I smote all the firstborns in the land of Egypt, I sanctified for myself all the firstborns of Israel. Both man and beast, they shall become mine. I am the Lord. All right, cool. So now we hear at the conclusion of the fourth portion, we get a reminder of who are those descended from Aaron. So we have the 4 sons. 2 of them were killed, leaving Eleazar and Itamar. And then with the tribe of Levi, they are going to be offered up to serve and assist the Kohanim, to perform the service of the Mishkan. So their job is to make sure that the tent and tabernacle and all that are taken care of. And interestingly, he says, I've taken the Levites from among the children of Israel in place of all the firstborns. So previously it was mentioned the firstborn son, the firstborn of anything is given to the Lord. But now instead, it seems that the Levites are the ones being taken instead of the firstborns of the rest. And if you think about it, it makes sense in the context of we're in the middle, especially in this context, they're traveling through the desert, right? So as they're wandering, it's not going to happen where they're, okay, we just got a new child born in the tribe of Judah. Okay, now go bring him over to the tabernacle. Well, we got this new rule that says you can't go into their camp. So that definitely applies here. Would be very convenient to make an exception. Yes, now the Levites are simply already accounted for. They are the stand-in for the children of the people of Israel. And now we know their job. Now let's learn a little bit more about it. Fifth portion, chapter 3, verse 14. The Lord spoke to Moses in the Sinai desert, saying, Count the children of Levi according to their father's house, according to their families. Count all males from the age of 1 month and upward. So Moses counted them according to God's word, just as he was commanded. These were the names of Levi's sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The names of the sons of Gershon according to their families were Libni and Shimel. And the sons of Kohath according to their families were Amram, Itzar, Hebron, and Uziel. And the sons of Merari according to their families were Machli and Mushi. These are the families of Levi according to their fathers' houses. For Gershon, the Levite family, and the Shimei family, these are the Gershonite families. Their sum was made according to the number of males from the age of 1 month and upward. The tally amounted to 7,500. Their Gershonite family shall camp behind the Mishkan to the west. The prince of the father's house of the Gershonites is Eliasaph, the son of Lael. The charge of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting included the Mishkan, the tent, its cover, and the screen for the entrance to the tent of meeting, the hangings of the courtyard, the screen at the entrance to the courtyard, which is around the Mishkan and the altar, its ropes, as well as all the work involved. For Kohath, the Amramite family, the Israelite family, the Hebronite family, and the Uzielite family. These are the families of the Kohath. The number of all males from the age of 1 month and upward amounted to 8,600, the keepers of the charge of the holy. The families of the sons of the Kohath shall camp to the south side of the Mishkan. The prince of the father's house of the Kohathite families is Elizaphan, the son of Uziel. Their charge included the ark, the table, the menorah, the altars, and the holy utensils with which they would minister, and the screen and all the work involved. The prince over all the princes of the Levites shall be Eleazar, the son of Aaron the Cohen, the appointment of all the keepers of the charge of the holy. For Merari, the Machlite family and the Mushite family, these are the families of Merari. Their tally, according to the number of males from age of 1 month upward, was 6,200. The prince of the father's house of Merarite families is Zuriel, the son of Abichail. They shall camp on the north side of the Mishkan. The appointment of the charge of the sons of Merari included the planks of the Mishkan, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, all its utensils, and all the work involved. Also the pillars of the surrounding courtyard, their sockets, their stakes, and their ropes. Camping in front of the Mishkan, in front of the tent of meeting to the east were Moses, Aaron, and his sons, the keepers of the charge of the sanctuary, as a trust for the children of Israel. Any outsider who approaches shall be put to death. The sum of the male Levites according to their families from the age of 1 month and upward, counted by Moses and Aaron according to the word of the Lord, was 22,000. All right, that's the end of that portion. So before we go into the breakdown of each part once again, what's very interesting to me is in the previous portion, these are the descendants of Aaron and Moses. But what I find really interesting here is that we're not getting the names of Moses' sons. These are just the children of Aaron, but it says Aaron and Moses, right? So the actual names that we get to see here are not the names of Moses' two known sons. So I find that very fascinating. It really does stay exclusively with Aaron. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the specifics. So these different groups are going to be responsible for different positionals surrounding the tabernacle, the Mishkan, right? So we're going to have these different Levite groups encircling it with their encampments, and then that's like the inner ring. The outer ring is all of the other tribes of the Israelites. So this is a pretty solid defense, but then also these different groups have different assignments to take care of. So for example, the sons of Merari, they have to handle the planks, the bars, the pillars, the sockets, the utensils, and all the work involved. And that's also the pillars of the surrounding courtyard, their sockets, their stakes, and their ropes. So there we see that is their job. Every time this thing has to be torn down and set back up, that's what goes on here. So with that, their number is simply 22,000. This is everybody from the age of 1 month and upward, counted by Moses and Aaron according to the word of the Lord. That's a very small number compared to the other tribes. The tribe of Levi is tiny. But anyway, that especially because it starts from 1 month and up. The other ones are age 20 and up. This is just from 1 month and up. You couldn't even find that many compared to the rest. So in any case, that is the situation. I'm not going to break down the individual tasks of each tribe member, but just keep in mind that the ones we listed, they all have a very specific job when it comes time to move. Now moving on to the sixth portion in chapter 3, verse 40. The Lord said to Moses, "Count every firstborn male aged 1 month and upward of the children of Israel, and take the number of their names, and you shall take the Levites for me. I am the Lord instead of all firstborns among the children of Israel. And take the Levites' animals instead of all the firstborn animals of the children of Israel." So Moses counted every firstborn of Israel as the Lord had commanded him. The firstborn males aged 1 month and upward according to the number of names was 22,273. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the Levites instead of all the firstborns among the children of Israel, and the Levites' animals instead of their animals, and the Levites shall be mine. I am the Lord. As for the 273 of the children of Israel who required redemption, who are in excess of the Levites, you shall take 5 shekels per head, according to the holy shekel, by which the shekel is 20 gerahs. You shall give the money to Aaron and his sons in redemption for the firstborns who are in excess of them." So Moses took the redemption money for those in excess of those redeemed by the Levites. He took the money from the firstborn of the children of Israel, 1,365 of the holy shekels. Then Moses gave the money of those redeemed to Aaron and his sons in accordance with the word of the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. So here we see once again the emphasis on the Levites will be used in place of the rest of Israel. The Levites will be used to redeem those sons. But there's a problem. They did the math, and the numbers did not completely line up. So for the insufficient numbers, they basically just said 5 shekels each. And at the end of that, that's what they did. And the money goes to Aaron and his sons. Such is the command. Now on to the seventh and final portion, chapter 4 of Bamidbar, verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, "Make a count of the sons of Kohath from among the children of Levi by their families, according to their fathers' houses, from the age of 30 until the age of 50, all who enter the service to do work in the tent of meeting. The following is the service of the sons of the Kohath in the tent of meeting, the Holy of Holies. When the camp is about to travel, Aaron and his sons shall come and take down the dividing screen. With it they shall cover the ark of the testimony. They shall place upon it a covering of tachash skin, and on top of that they shall spread a cloth of pure blue wool. They then shall place its poles in place. They shall spread a cloth of blue wool on the show table, and they shall place it on the form, spoon, supports, and covering frames. The continual bread can then be placed upon it. They shall spread upon them a cloth of crimson wool, and cover that with a covering of tachash skin. They shall put its poles into place. They shall take a blue cloth and cover the menorah for lighting and its lamps, its tongs, and its scoops, and all its oil vessels used in performing its service. They shall put it and its vessels into a covering of tachash skin and place it on a pole. They shall spread a cloth of blue wool over the golden altar, and cover it with a covering of tachash skin, and then set its poles in place. They shall then take all the vessels used in the holy, put them into a cloth of blue wool, cover them with a covering of tachash skin, and put them onto a pole. They shall remove the ashes from the altar, and spread a cloth of purple wool over it. They shall place on it all the utensils with which they minister upon it, the scoops, the forks, the shovels, and the basins, all the implements of the altar. Then they shall spread over it a covering of tachash skin, and set its poles into place. Aaron and his sons shall finish covering the holy and all the vessels of the holy when the camp is set to travel, and following that the sons of Kohath shall come to carry them, but they shall not touch the sacred objects, for then they will die. These are the burden of the sons of Kohath for the tent of meeting. The charge of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the Kohen, oil for lighting, the incense of spices, the continual daily meal offering, and the anointing oil, the charge for the entire Mishkan, and all that is in it, of the holy and its furnishings. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Do not cause the tribes of the families of Kohath to be cut off from among the Levites. Do this for them, so that they should live and not die, when they approach the Holy of Holies. Aaron and his sons shall first come and appoint each man individually to his task and his load. They shall not come in to see when the holy vessels are being wrapped, lest they die. All right, and that's the end of the final portion. So here we see the last job assignments being given out, and we see Kohath's family here. Children of Levi, they've got from the age of 30 until the age of 50, that's their job. They are going to enter a world of service for the holy tabernacle, the tent of meeting, etc. So breaking it down, right, when Aaron and his sons take down the screen, they're going to cover the ark. Then there's going to be a skin placed on top of that, and so on. They're going to make sure to cover all these things, and then the family of Kohath will come in and carry the things that have been covered up, and they're going to be reset. And then once that's taken care of, Eleazar, his sons, are going to take care of the oil, the spices, and things like that. And then it's very important, but basically the Lord makes a note. He says, do not let the families of Kohath be cut off from among the Levites, because after all, their job, right, is to go in and take care of this thing. But the rule is that they have to not be considered outsiders. So if they become an outsider, they get cut off. When they approach to do their job, they're going to suddenly get killed. So remember, it's very, very, very important. We talk about this when it says his soul shall be cut off from his people. That means make sure that they are purified, make sure that they are holy, make sure they are not in sin, so that when they approach, they won't be killed for approaching a sacred place, a sanctified place, while their soul has been designated as cut off. So make sure, basically, if they do get in trouble, bring them back. Allow them to do teshuvah, to reconnect them to their people. And then there might be some hope for them. But also, when the holy vessels are being wrapped, don't let them in, because they'll die there too. So this is very important stuff. But basically, this is a critical warning. Don't let them be cut off and then come in to do their jobs, because once that happens, they're just going to die on the spot. And we know that no one is safe, because it happened to the first two of Aaron's sons. So in any case, this is the end of this week's Torah portion of Bamidbar, and we now see the numbers themselves. This is why it's called Numbers, right? It opens up with a census, but in the actual Hebrew, Bamidbar is in the desert, so it's very different. This is actually talking about what's going on with them as they're journeying in the desert, and how they're going to move the many legions of the Israelites and their armies across the desert in formation. So it's interesting to see how the translations are different between the different cultures, right? But ultimately, the original Hebrew is Bamidbar. It talks about their time in the desert. Now, putting that all aside, we now know the breakdown of the different census of those who are of fighting force, of the 600,000+ of men. So now we know that, and we also know everybody's job on the inside with the Levites and things of that nature. We also get to see that, Aaron's sons are the ones that are glorified ultimately. Moses' children are not mentioned, so it seems that their fate is a bit different. But in any case, that's all for this time. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found it very informative and learned something new. I think even just the core name discussion, right, over it being numbers versus in the desert, stuff like that, that's really where it comes to play. So now we can see what is the true correct name and why, and know the difference between the two. In any case, until next time, this has been Shmuel Moshe with the Weekly Parashahcast. Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to this newest book of the books of Moses. We'll be continuing next time, but until then, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you again. Be well, and as always, Baruch Hashem.